President Bola Tinubu has met with the leadership of the United Arab Emirates in a bid to resolve the Emirates airline flight suspension to Nigeria, visa ban and other diplomatic issues. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Management, Festus Keyamo, had on Sunday night traveled to the Middle East country to meet with the president, who had a stopover after exiting the G20 summit in India. The Aviation and Aerospace Management Minister, Festus Keyamo, confirmed that officials of the two countries will meet over the matter. The UAE imposed a visa ban on Nigerians in October 2022, shortly after Emirates Airlines suspended flights to Nigeria. The move was reportedly in response to Nigeria's failure to repatriate billions of dollars in trapped funds. Nigerian carrier Airpeace, which was also operating in Dubai, similarly suspended its flights as the UAE stopped the issuance of visas to prospective travelers. The United States President Joe Biden, who met with President Bola Tinubu on Sunday on the sidelines of G20 New Delhi, India, said the meeting was to reaffirm the country's commitment to the U.S.-Nigeria relationship. Biden said his administration was committed to the long-standing friendship between both countries and peoples. A statement published on the official White House website said Biden praised the efforts made by Tinubu administration to bring about economic reforms in Nigeria. The statement said President Biden welcomed the Tinubu administration's step to reform Nigeria's economy and thanked President Tinubu for his strong leadership as the chair of the Economic Community of West African States to defend and preserve democracy and rule of law in Niger and the broader region. On Nigeria's invitation to the G20 summit, the statement said Nigeria's invitation is a recognition of its important global role as Africa's largest democracy and economy. And away from that, at least 26 people died in Niger State after a wooden boat they were traveling in capsized in a dam on Sunday. The vessel was carrying over 100 passengers, including women and children, who live in communities between Jeba and Kainji Dam in Mokwa area of the state before it hit a reservoir. More than 30 people have been rescued, and Bologi Ibrahim, the spokesperson to the state governor, said a combined rescue operation by Marine, police and local divers in collaboration with Niger State Emergency Management Agency is ongoing. The cause of the accident is not yet known, but Mr. Ibrahim, however, blamed overcrowding and lack of life jackets. Official reports say that most of the passengers were crossing the dam to attend to their farms. In June, more than 100 people died when an overloaded boat traveled to Niger State capsized after part of the vessel collapsed, causing water to flood the boat in one of the worst such disasters in recent years. And also, Rivers State Governor Similayi Fubaru met with heads of security formations in the state on Sunday, charging them to find and arrest the killer of late SP Bako Angbashim, the divisional police officer of Ahada, who was brutally murdered by some criminal gangs on Friday. The governor specifically urged the security agencies to get the prime suspect, Gift Okpara Opolowo, also known as Tubaba, at all costs, as a clear statement that the state is not a haven for criminals. Fubara stated this while briefing the Government House Press Corps shortly after an emergency security council meeting at the state seat of power in Port Harcourt. A statement signed by the media aide to the governor, Boniface Onyedi, said Governor Fubara, who described the incident as unfortunate and barbaric, sympathized with the Nigerian police and the family of the slain senior police officer. Meanwhile, the State Police Command said 6 suspects have been arrested in connection with the gruesome murder of the late Angbashim, with the command's spokesperson, Grace Iwinge Koko, confirming the arrest in a statement issued on Sunday. And former President Olusegun Obasanjo has lauded Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke for being a dancing but working governor. Obasanjo gave the commendation on Sunday while speaking at the 16th Harvest Anniversary and Thanksgiving service held at the Love of Christ Generation Church, CNS, in Victoria Highland, Lagos State. The event was attended by the owner of Ife, His Majesty Oba Enitan Adeyeye Ogunwusi, the publisher of Ovation magazine Dele Mamadu, Osun State House of Assembly Speaker Adewale Egbedun, and members of the Osun House of Assembly and top political and traditional rulers. Obasanjo cited the governor as an example of a leader who is not ashamed to praise God despite occupying the highest position in the state. explained that dancing and working for God and the people are themes to be proud of. Speaking at the event, Adeleke said his administration has reformed the public service, attended to workers' welfare, constructed and reconstructed over 40 kilometers of roads, and implemented free medical surgeries with more than 40,000 beneficiaries. And moving on, the Independent National Electoral Commission at the weekend kicked against the registration of weak political parties in the country. The INEC Acting Director, Department of Election and Party Monitoring, Ajia Awa Abib, made the call while speaking during a program themed Validation Section, Needs Assessment of Political Parties in Nigeria. The program, organized by the Kuka Center and funded by the European Union, was part of Component 3 of the European Union support to democratic governance in Nigeria. Abib said that to register a political party, the proponents must have a membership of 24 people from 24 states and Federal Capital Territory. Abib said INEC sees them as briefcase political parties, as sometimes the chairman and the secretary hijack the political party because they registered the political party from inception and all the members were not necessarily financial members. And the president of the Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, Professor Aminu Mohammed, has said that it will take Nigeria 10 years to replace the 500 doctors who recently left Nigeria in search of greener pastures. Mohammed was speaking on Sunday against the backdrop of findings by the association from 50 out of 80 chapters confirmed that no fewer than 500 medical personnel have left the shores of Nigeria to the outside world. The president, who was fielding questions from newsmen shortly after he read a communique of the biennial delegates meeting of the association held in Kano, lamented that the alarming exodus of specialists out of the country painted a dark future for the health sectors in the country. He stressed that according to statistics available to them, more than 500 medical consultants have migrated out of the country in search of greener pasture elsewhere. According to him, Nigeria has continued to produce the finest and highest number of clinical experts, graduates and postgraduates in sub-Saharan Africa, who are currently breaking records all over the world. The communique has called for a synergy between teaching hospitals, universities and regulatory bodies, which has contributed to the failure to optimize the potential for increasing the quality of medical students. The cost of education in Nigeria is steadily on the rise in the general direction of inflation, with the development increasing the burden on parents. Every new academic section comes with a lot of changes and adjustments, which sometimes affect the parents negatively as the economic situation of the country worsens by the day. Our correspondent Mbosowo Udwak Obang has more reports.
Though education is dynamic, a lot of changes have occurred in our education sector with the economic crisis in the country. The prices of textbooks, writing materials, school fees are leaving parents in a state of lamentation. According to some bookstore sellers, it costs a minimum of 25,000 naira to procure the learning materials of students per term.
The minimum range is, let me say 10,000 to 12,000, the minimum. The maximum from 25 to 70.
In a means to curb the huge responsibilities on parents, a respondent suggested that schools should refrain from selling books while also cutting down on the percentage added to school fees.
School authorities should allow parents to go and buy their books outside. Because once you have already been paying 75,000 or 60,000 for school fees, then they will add another 70,000 or 80,000 for books. That is unfair. If you plead to the school authorities that they should not be add too much of school fees, so they should help us. Maybe one we are paying 25,000. If they want to increase it, they just put 5,000. Not that they will turn it to 45,000. Not that they will turn it to 75,000. They should not add 50%, 70% to the school fees.
Listening to Mrs. Olieye, Assistant Head Teacher of African Primary School Ifako, Lagos State, she noted the public school education system in Lagos is different as the state government has made free education available for students.
The target of Lagos State is to educate all children. And that's why there's a slogan in Lagos State that leave no child behind. And education in Lagos State is free. They don't pay school fees. Down to everything they use in Lagos State. If you talk about the textbooks, it's free. Talk about the writing materials and so forth, it's free. There is nothing they paid money for.
In a bid to lessen the responsibilities on parents, the government may consider instituting a regulatory body to check the affairs of private schools in the country. Mbosowo Udwabong, reporting for iBrandTV News.
The death toll from a 6.8 magnitude earthquake that hit Morocco on Friday is risen above 2,000. This is as the African country races against time to save those trapped under the rubble. As response teams struggle to bring machineries to dig the rubble, villagers continue to dig by hand and shovel to find survivors. According to reports, Friday's earthquake is the country's deadliest in 60 years. The government of Morocco reported that at least 2,122 people were killed and more than 2,421 injured, many critically. The tremor collapsed homes, blocked roads, and swayed buildings as far away as the country's northern coast. Egypt has voiced anger after Ethiopia announced it had filled the reservoir at a highly controversial hydroelectric dam on the Blue Nile River. Ethiopia has been in dispute with Egypt and Sudan over the mega project since its launch in 2011, as Egypt relies on the Nile for nearly all its water needs. Egypt's foreign ministry said Ethiopia was disregarding the interests of the downstream countries. Ethiopia says the $4.2 billion dam will not quote their share of Nile water. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed admitted on X that the project had faced internal and external obstacles, but they endured all that. Ethiopia believes the Grand Ethiopian Dam will double the country's electricity output, providing a vital development boost, as currently half the 127 million population lacks electricity. Another foreign scene, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov expressed a joint declaration by G20 leaders in Delhi that avoids condemning Moscow for its war against Ukraine. Mr. Lavrov said Russia had not expected consensus and agreement on the wording was a step in the right direction. The closing G20 statement announced using force for territorial gain, but made no mention of Russian aggression, prompting criticism from Ukraine. The two-day summit also inducted a new permanent member, the African Union. The 55-member bloc joins at the invitation of host India, one of whose key objectives while president has been to make the G20 more inclusive with greater participation of so-called Global South countries. The world's biggest economies reached other key deals in Delhi, including one on climate and biofuels, although there was criticism of the summit's failure to commit to phasing out fossil fuels.